EU and U.S. MOU. So this one was interesting to me. I saw this news pop up. What's your read on kind of what this MOU means in terms of this competition over resources?
So we talked about earlier the ECBs and the euro area from an economic standpoint. They're much softer position or ground they're standing on into this little window. And this story here from the EU and US signing an MOU on critical minerals, right? We talked about critical minerals being one of the key inputs into this new vision, the Pax Silica, which encompasses AI supply chains, semiconductors, energy resources, critical minerals and rare earths, and then also the financial layer, which we talked about the dollar swap line story, Bitcoin, et cetera. This is one front on that, right? So the critical minerals we talked about, the existing supply chains are heavily reliant on a small number of production locations for supply. And that is a challenge for the other regional powers, say US, EU, et cetera, who are dealing with that key bottleneck, right? Where, it's widely known China has a temporary high ground position, I will say, in the rare earth production and supply chains. It's not insurmountable if you go deep on um, the actual managers production who know this industry. I don't think it's a long-term pain point that the U.S. and other regional powers who cooperate, like the EU, can't can't resolve for themselves, just given enough time. And we're talking here maybe a couple of years, not multiple decades, right? Okay, so what this EU and US kind of agreement is hinting at for me, this is a positive sign. Um, if you think about this competition, right, all these economies are chasing resources, trying to strengthen their financial system. Um, you can approach it two ways, right? It can turn into war and take a kinetic tone, or you can get a cooperative kind of approach. And these players, while they're still competing, they do work together and they don't, take it that, full on destructive route. So this agreement really was a positive step. EU and the US stepping back from, what's kind of really since Davos in January been a heated, intense kind of undertone in that relationship. This critical minerals deals where they'll agree on things like, say, price floors in each local block or stockpiling decisions. Well, they'll coordinate with each other so that both sides can get um, quantities and reserves of these critical minerals that they need. It's a positive framework, or it's a positive development. As the name Pax Silica, if you foot to it, the Pax means peace, right? So it's hopefully it's a hopeful vision that this whole process we can get through it and let it play out without resorting to a much bigger, world war type of situation. So this was a positive
Yeah.
development on that front this week.